Do you want to be an offensive and defensive force to be reckoned with? Well, today I'm going to show you how you can get your hands on one of the best pieces of armor in this game that's sure to get you there. This will be accomplished by upgrading the Scorchflame Plate Armor. If you don't have it yet and you'd like to get the entire set, check out the video in the link below. I'm going to show you all the steps necessary to get this armor upgraded to the Kuku Flame Resistant Armor. At the end of the video, we're going to compare the stats from the original, the Kuku Flame Resistant Armor, and the fully refined armor, so stay tuned. Alright, so to get started, we need to make our way outside of Hernand and go west. We're going to be looking for the Kilnden Workshop. Now, if you haven't unlocked this yet, you're going to need to get to at least Chapter 4 to do so. The quest that you're going to be looking for to get this completed is going to be called the Mysterious Pot. Once all 4 steps are done, you will unlock this location and now we'll be able to craft this high tier gear. Once there, you're going to make your way on top and talk to Grimnir so you can find out what you need to craft this armor. Once in the menu, you're going to go to the right and find the Kuku Flame Resistant Armor. This is what we'll be crafting. Like I said, don't worry too much about the stats. We're going to compare the stats with the original, this one, and the fully refined at the end. Alright, the first item that we're going to need to craft this armor is an enhanced Kuku Pot. But in order to create this, you're actually going to need a blueprint for it. And don't worry, we'll cover that later in the video. You're also going to need to have a regular Kuku Pot in order to enhance it to the enhanced version. For the regular Kuku Pot, you will just need iron, ore, and timber. Those should be pretty easy to find, so just make sure you don't forget them when you show up to craft the armor. The enhanced Kuku Pot also requires an abyss cell to be crafted. You could get these in several locations across the map. I'm going to show 2 just in case you don't know where you can get one or you don't have one in your inventory. The first location will be between Hernand and Payloon near the Sage's Peak at the Roots and Ruins. You may know this is a place that you can farm abyss cells, cores, or iron ore. If you haven't locked yourself out of this place, you're going to run up here and jump on top. And when you get there, you will notice several rocks. Now, these aren't actual rocks, they are stone crabs that you can attack, and when you do, they will drop several items, whether it be abyss cells, cores, or iron ore that you can collect, and you will more than likely almost every time get at least 1 abyss cell, so this should help you very quickly. The only thing that you don't want to do is attack the rocks that have all the moss and plants on them, because if you do, that will essentially lock this location. The next location will be south of Hernand. You're going to go towards the Witchwoods and then continue further south. Eventually, you're going to run into an abyss nexus where my icon is located. Right there, you're going to find bushy creatures with spikes sticking out that will drop these abyss cells as well. If you look to the right of the screen where the white dot is located, that is one of those creatures. The next item on our list that we're going to need to get is going to be the Scorchflame Plate Armor. For this portion, you will actually need the armor and the blueprint to create it. In order to get the blueprint, you will need to have progressed through the Witch's questline to the Witch of Kindness. If you haven't found her yet, she's relatively easy to locate as she's between the A and Payloon and the Wayward Woods. Now for reference, when you get here, you're going to see the spire in the distance. You'll need to turn around and go towards the cliff edge where you'll find a tent, and that is where she's located. Once you reach her, you will need to light the fire next to her to warm her up, and that will start her questline. Once she finishes her dialogue, you will have begun her questline, but in order to clear the sanctums that we need to clear, you will actually need to go talk to her at her house on the north side of Payloon first. It's relatively easy to locate as it marks it on your map for you, so just go talk to her, and she'll ask you to clear the sanctums. At that point, we're ready to progress forward with our task.
May kindness remain ever by your side.
For the armor's blueprint, you will need to cleanse the Sanctum of Deliverance. That will be located directly above the D in Hernand, just south of Storm Talon Ridge. Before attempting to cleanse the Sanctum, make sure that you've liberated it first. To locate the items necessary to cleanse it, I'm going to start on the south side of the Sanctum, and for reference, I'm going to pan around so you can see where I am. The first item is going to be in that room to our left, and that's where we're going to head next. Once you get to the room, you're going to want to light the lanterns on either side, and that will lower the gates. Once the gates are lowered, attach the item with your grappling hook and seal it in your Kuku Pot. At this point, we want to climb to the top of the very center building. At this point, we just need to get to the top so you can climb or use your force jump, whatever works best for you. Just make sure you get to the top. Once you're at the top, you're going to notice that some of these rocks look like they're not very stable. You're going to walk on them and force them to fall and fall in. Once inside, if you turn around, you're going to notice that there's your block that you need. Also, grab that with your grappling hook and seal it in your Kuku Pot. At this point, do whatever you need to do to get outside of this building. Once you're out of the building, turn around and make your way down so you can cleanse the sanctum. Once you get here, make sure you take both items out of your Kuku Pot so you can place them in their respective locations. After you have force palm both items in place, this will initiate the sequence for cleansing the sanctum. After the cutscene completes, you'll be met by the Witch of Kindness. She will complete her dialogue and will be given the blueprint that we're here after.
May kindness remain ever by your side.
At this point, you will receive the blueprints for the Kuku Flame Resistant Armor as well as the Kuku Frost Spitter. Now that we have the blueprints, it's time to pick up the armor. The armor is going to be located at the Golden Trading Post in Dominus. Once there, you're going to run towards the middle and you're going to notice two people that look like they're arguing. Behind them, you're going to see a door. You'll enter through that door, and behind it will be the chest that you need to loot for the armor. Trying to get through this door, you might have to crouch to get in. Sometimes it's a pain. Just work your way through and you'll make it. And don't forget, if you want this entire armor set, some other armor sets, or weapons, don't forget to check out the video in the link below. Alright, now that we got the blueprints and the armor, it's on to the next. We need to get the power core, Casket of Illusions. This one's going to be relatively simple as it's located just outside the city of Hernan, directly to the south. If you look at the map, go from the castle south outside the city walls, you will run into the Muckroot Ranch. From there, you will notice this building that is destroyed and has a bunch of scaffolding around it. That's what we're looking for. For reference, I'm going to stand in the field and pan around in a circle so you can get an idea of exactly where we are. That way you don't get lost and you can find this easily. Once you find the rundown house, make your way over there and jump inside. Once inside, you'll notice the cell is there. All you need to do is grab both your grappling hook and seal it in your Kuku Pot. Alright, so we made it to the last item on the list, the Core of Absolution. To obtain this, you're going to have to liberate and cleanse the Sanctum of Absolution. This sanctum is going to be located to the south of Hernand. If you go down towards the Witchwoods, it's going to be south of the Witchwoods and northwest of the Mountain of Frozen Souls. For reference, I'm going to point out its location on the map. Now, if you haven't liberated and cleansed this sanctum yet, it can be quite difficult because the boss that you encounter here. If you get stuck and you need help, I have linked a video in the description below that should help you get through it no problem. Once this has been liberated, we're going to run from the Abyss Nexus directly up to the middle center arena where the boss encounter was and straight into the main building. In here, you're going to see a pile of pots that you need to destroy, and that will be the first item we need to cleanse this. Once you locate it, grab with your grappling hook and seal it in your Kuku Pot. From here, we're going to exit this building and circle around to the backside. Once you make it to the backside, you're going to see another room. You'll need to go inside that room, and directly to the left will be the second object. Just as we did at the other sanctum, we're going to remove these items from our Kuku Pot, place them in their respective locations, and force palm them in place. Once both items are in place, we'll again get the cleansing sequence and will be met by the respective witch for the sanctum. Once the witch completes her dialogue and leaves, we'll have one more task to complete to get the item we're here after. Alright, now that we've officially cleansed the sanctum, we are going to receive the blueprint for the enhanced Kuku Pot. We also need to walk around to the right side to this item that looks like a dial. Use your sword glint or blinding flash, whatever you want to call it. Direct your light into the center. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold your light for anything that's a silver object. Let go of the button anytime there's nothing there. So I'm going to show and give an example, but as you can see, every time I have a silver object, I hit the button. When I don't, I let go. That way it gets through the entire dial and unlocks and gives us the piece we're looking for. And that right there is the core of Absolution. We need to seal it into our Kuku Pot by grabbing it with our grappling hook, just like before. All right, at this point, we've collected everything we need. Now it's time for us to get back and craft this awesome piece of armor. What we're going to do first, like I said, we need to get a Kuku Pot and craft that. We don't want to use the one that we already had because we're obviously using it to store all our stuff. So we're just going to make another one.
You got a problem with me?
Once that's been crafted, now we need to move over and make the enhanced Kuku Pot.
Oh, it's you. Come to admire real craftsmanship.
All right, now that we have all the prerequisites, all we need to do is move over and craft this armor. As you can tell, we now have the enhanced Kuku Pot, the Scorchflame Plate Armor, the Power Core Casket of Illusions, and the Core of Absolution.
Oh, it's you. Come to admire real craftsmanship.
All right, so now that's crafted, we're going to go ahead and check out the stats from every level. So when we first pick this up, it has a defense of 14, critical rate of level 2, fire resistance of level 7. With what we just crafted for the Kuku Flame Resistant Armor, it's going to have a defense of 18, a critical rate of level 2, and a refinement of level 5 with fire resistance of level 10. If you look when this is fully refined, you get a defense of 38, critical rate of 3, and a fire resistance level of 10. This clearly becomes one of the best armors in the game at this point. Thank you for making it to the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, keep gaming and have fun.